Hey, welcome or welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to the story times, Ganny's story time. I am Ganny. That's because I have three grandchildren and I wanted to come up with a different name and I thought of many, but I came up with Ganny. So that's what I am. I am Ganny and I love to read. And today we have a story called The Parable of the Lily. Liz Curtis Higgs is the lady who wrote this story. She is the author and it's illustrated by Nancy Munger. That means Miss Nancy did all these pictures. She's the artist. So if you like to draw, but you don't draw paintings like one that I have on my wall that was made for me behind my Christmas tree. I had someone from India make that for me. He made me two handmade paintings, so they're special to me. But anyway, you can do little pictures for storybooks. This book was illustrated by the Tommy Nelson Publishing Company, and that is located in Tennessee. They wanted to make sure that this book got published so people like me and you could read it. It would be available. But let me read to you. One wintry day, the farmer's young daughter, she shuffled through the snow, headed for the mailbox at the end of the lane. See, she got her cat and her puppy with her. Brrr. It was cold. I like the snow. I'm from where it snows. It's pretty, but I don't like it when it starts to melt and stuff. She peered inside of the mailbox and she found a small white envelope. Surprise! It was addressed to her. One of those letters were for her. Dear Maggie, the letter began, I'm sending a very special gift just for you. Look for it soon. Maggie loved getting presents, especially a gift as mysterious as this one. When would it come? Who is it from? And what would it be? The farmer's daughter waited and waited, some days patiently and some days not so patiently. Then one day, an ordinary afternoon, a box appeared on her doorstep and her gift had arrived. The farmer watched as his daughter excitedly tore off the wrapping paper. He was eager to see what she thought of her present. But Maggie didn't say a word. She just stared at the small wooden crate full of dirt. Dirt was not at all what Maggie had hoped for. Probably it was a doll or a game or a special scarf. What kind of gift would it be? And she got a box of dirt. Poking out of the soil was a small piece of paper that told Maggie how to take care of her gift. It says hide it in a cool, dark place, water it as needed, and when spring comes, bring it out into the light. So that means when she's got it tucked away in a dark place, she cannot forget about watering it. Then she knew it must be a growing thing, like a bulb that would someday bloom into a plant. Oh dear, her long-awaited gift wasn't a toy or a doll or a game after all. Look at her sitting there, kind of pouty. The farmer could see that his daughter was very disappointed and his heart grew sad because she didn't know it, but the gift was from him. He wanted her to be excited. With a sigh, Maggie carried that wooden box down the steps into the darkest corner of the cellar, and she left it there on a shelf. Sometimes she remembered to water it, but most of the time, Maggie just plain forgot. It'd be hard to remember something down in the basement like that, wouldn't it, that you had to hide away to go water it? Well, the farmer did not forget. He just waited and he watched. Spring came at last. The air was warmer and the gray skies had melted into robin's egg blue. What a welcome sight that sun was. It was now time for the farmer to hoe his garden, getting the soil ready for the seeds that filled his pockets. Farmers have to work hard to get out there and plant. They have to dig up the ground and make sure it's just right and pull out the weeds, and then they plant the seeds, and then they have to go out and water it and weed it. A lot of work. Maggie wanted to help, so she marched down the cellar steps to get her own Maggie-sized gardening tools. And that's when it happened. Searching for her toolbox in the darkest corner of the cellar, Maggie knocked the forgotten crate of dirt right off the shelf. Crash! The crate slithered into pieces. Soil was everywhere, and the flower bulb that rolled to her feet showed no signs of life. This is the bulb down here. It does have a little bit of sprout on the top, but it's not nice and green. She hadn't taken care of it very well. Oh, what a mess. And Maggie was mad at the box and even madder at herself. She swept up the dirt and she threw the broken box, grumbling under her breath. And that ugly old flower bulb, she tossed out the cellar door, never to think of it again. Just threw it out there, never to think of it again. Now she kept it in the box, in the dark, watered it sometimes. I wonder if the farmer ever went down and watered it. Now she's throwing it out. But guess what? The sun had come up now, and it was warmer weather, and that's what it told her to do. Maggie woke up earlier than usual on Easter morning. A warm breeze blew through her bedroom window, and the chirping birds seemed to be calling her name. Still dressed in her nightgown, Maggie tiptoed out into the garden. She was hoping to find some daffodils or tulips to decorate the table for Easter breakfast. Let's see what she finds. And that's when she saw it. The loveliest lily that God ever made was blooming on the edge of her father's flower garden. Look at that pretty thing that came from that bulb in that dirt in the dark, in the box. Its white petals unfolded like a trumpet. Its leaves were green with new life, and the scent, that means the smell of it, was as fragrant as the most expensive perfume. Some flowers smell super good, and lilies are one of them. Gardenias do too. Maggie knew all at once what had happened. She didn't know whether to laugh or cry or shout with joy. So Maggie did all three at once. Wake up, everybody! Wake up and come see! The gift is alive! Her family hurried out to the garden. They couldn't believe their eyes. So much beauty from such an ugly box of dirt. Remember, that's what she thought. Maggie noticed the farmer standing in the doorway, quietly watching. His smile gave away his secret. Father, it was you that gave me the lily, Maggie squealed with delight. Suddenly, her little girl smile began to fade. Oh dear, she'd thrown away her father's gift without so much as a thank you. Oh, how that must have hurt him. I'm sorry, Daddy, she said, putting her little arms around his big waist. Will you forgive me? Oh, my child, the farmer whispered, hugging her tight. That's what Easter is all about, forgiving people. And that is the end of the story. So her little old box of dirt ended up being something beautiful, okay? So sometimes we just have to be patient and follow directions. But anyway, Yanni hopes you enjoyed Storytime. Build your library. Make reading fun. Don't read plain and simple because you want to impress. You might impress someone who hires you, and they turn out to be someone you work for. Then you start working for them, and because you can read so well and you understand, you might get your own company. You need to do that. But reading helps you to be more successful in a path like that, in that life journey, okay? Yanni enjoys you tuning in. Click like or something to let me know you've watched, okay? Hugs to everybody. Kisses to my three. You know who you are. Until next time, guys.